As an empath who loves people and loves to understand people on a really deep level, I find myself trying to give what other people desire from me. And that's not bad. I realize that that's valid. In a connection, when another person is coming into my aura of existence, I find myself trying to figure out what that person is desiring from me at that time. And I unconsciously give what they desire from me, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And if you do that as well, I really think that it's such a beautiful thing as humans, as social beings, to be so intertwined with each other that we get to know what we really desire. And ultimately it's love, right? But also it's hard when you aren't able to really tap into the love that you need in that moment for yourself. And so it's important to find that balance between giving or nurturing the desire that other person is requiring from you, and also nurturing the desire that your soul is requiring from yourself. And that desire, how to nurture it, is really simple, and it is with love. But also it is hard when other people are more inclined these days in this epidemic of being more internalized individuals and being more introverted and more in themselves so that they can get to a certain point. But what we don't realize is that if we need to get to a certain point, we need other people in the journey, because that is how we learn what we desire. It's only from how much we give to others that we get to know how much we need to give to ourselves. So it's important for us to be with other people while we go to our end point of our journey. And to do that, it is also firstly important to nurture what your soul actually desires, and ultimately get to know what you desire in the first place to go on that journey. What I did when I started my journey of self development was that I understood this concept of manifestation, and intrigued me so much that I just put so much goals on my vision board that didn't really actually resonate with who I was at my core. But these were materialistic things that I know I didn't need, but I just wanted to try it out. But what happens in that process is that in the process of trying it out, you have to go through the ringer of trying it out, meaning the process is transformational. It's not the end product that you get in an instant. So that transformation made me realize that I didn't need that manifestation. And so, what we don't realize in the moment is that manifestations are the journeys, and the journeys of you getting to that end point that we were talking about. That journey includes you being with other people, because that initiates a transformation. So, for you to nurture what your soul desires, you need to also nurture what other people are desiring. But now let's move on to the actual point. How do you nurture what your soul desires without, like me, going into all these materialistic manifestations that are so very propagated on the internet these days? So the first thing is that you need to understand that what everyone does is most likely not what you should do. Just because a person is drinking from a very great Stanley cup doesn't mean that it's also your sign to drink from a Stanley cup. Signs are really overrated these days. It's like, just because you see a number doesn't mean that it is going to mean the same thing every single time you see that number. And that doesn't mean that I don't believe in angel numbers and all that, but it means that you shouldn't stick onto something so easily. Nothing sticks in life, everything is evolving. So you have to understand that what everyone does is most likely not your way of doing it, because we are unique individuals. You have to understand that we are meant to be unique. So find what it is that makes you unique, and don't tell me that you don't have anything to be unique in, because that comes to our second point. How you are unique doesn't tell you about who you are, but who you follow, what you follow. So let me explain. My book fell down. So Just because you think that you are unique in a particular idea of yourself doesn't mean that you are unique because of that. It means that you are unique because that is what you follow, and that might be different from other people around you, so that's why you label it as unique. So what makes you unique is what you follow that is different from other people. And when you understand that, what happens is that you get to realize that you do have some type of value. When you are different, you understand that you have a value to give, because that is what is lacking in your circumstance. So that is what you have to follow. It's not what others think of it, because others have other things that they have to follow, and whether they follow it or not, it's their choice. But you have a choice of, since you've got the idea that you have something different, you have the choice of following it. So why not follow it? Because that makes you unique, and perhaps that will lead you to your purpose which you have to complete in your life as well. And once you start following that, it it gives you so many opportunities of following even more things from that stepping stone, which is the universe's way of saying that you have to go and pursue it even more, because that is your path. We i really do believe that we get born in a very opposite circumstance to who we truly are, because when we are born in around people who have different mindsets than we do, what happens is that we are challenged to follow what matters to us. And that inherently makes us more inclined to do what is not there around us. It makes us a rebel, and we like rebels. That's why we like rebels. So it's universe's placing for you to follow that. So if you don't follow that, why are you born in the first place, right? And so the way to fulfillment is not the way to materialistic abundance, like I said at the beginning. It's the way of you following it or not following it that leads to fulfillment. And not following it, I haven't entertained the idea of not following it leading to fulfillment, because I can't imagine that, but let's entertain it in the comments. That's not this video. Now, we've understood how we can nurture our soul's desires, how we find that our soul is different. We've understood that in this part. But how do we actually nurture that desire that we have found? How do we nurture it when other people are having opposite mindsets around us? It isn't easy per se to follow so easily what you want to follow, but it becomes easier when you understand these four simple steps. So the first step, let me give you an example. I really used to feel good when I would wear modest clothes, or when I would wear clothes that were really like deemed to be traditional in a certain sense. But what I realized was that that wasn't actually who I wanted to portray myself as. It was just what I wanted to portray in front of the people that desired that from me. And so, what really felt good to me was portraying myself for who I was, right? So, you should understand that feeling good in a certain way isn't it is dependent on many circumstances. And the more you can tap into what feels good for you, the more you understand that what you are doing isn't the definition of you feeling good. So, if I were to wear more clothes that were desired from me, that would mean I was negating what actually felt good for me. And that doesn't mean that I didn't feel good while I was wearing what other people desired from me, because I do feel good in that sense. But it just is more authentic of me to portray what I truly am, because that is what I have to follow. So see what you are doing and see if it is a definition of what feeling good is for you, of what you actually want to become, and do that, implement that. And this can either be entirely different from other people, from how other people dress in my circumstance, or it can be it can be wearing what they desire from you as well. It's not wrong to wear what other people are desiring from you, if that is what feels good for you. But if that isn't what is resonating with you, you should follow what does. So find the definition of you feeling good while you are doing the action. Now you found out what the good way was for you to live, right? So when you found out that, always commit to that feeling of goodness. And this is when subliminals, if you have ever heard of it, it's these makings of, it helps in manifestation. Basically, search subliminals and it helps in connecting to what feels good for you. So commit yourself for that. It's very opposing. There are going to be opposing forces if you're doing something that is entirely different from what is being desired from you. So when you are faced with that opposing force, it's really important that you commit to what you want to nurture. Nurturing is love, so don't take this as you being a rebel and all that. It's not. You are just following what your love to yourself wants to follow, and that's it. So that's the second step, and that's the most important one. The third one is, um, make every thought a gem that you have discovered. The fact that I am telling this to you is a gem that you have discovered. Think of it like that. Every single time you find yourself doing what is wanted from you, and if that isn't what feels good for you, then you have to understand that that isn't a result of you not pouring into yourself. It's the result of you pouring your attention into that, and that attention that you pour is a gem, because now you can again come back to yourself. So don't feel guilty for the fact that you are doing something that is opposite from what you need to be doing. It's okay, because now since you've put understanding on that situation, you can actually take it as a gem and go in the direction that you want to go in. Because guilt is a really big part of it in my circumstance, and I really want to point this out so that you don't go in the same direction that I went, which was then sparking my inner critic, and my inner critic telling me every time that what I was doing was completely wrong. And that isn't the case. Everything is love. And the fourth and final simple step is for you to not stop evolving ever. Just because you desire something now and you're nurturing that in this way doesn't mean that you're going to nurture the same thing in 2 days from now. So it's coming back to what feels good, right? It's coming back to what makes you connect and nurture yourself even more, nurture others even more as well. It's reciprocated. So never stop evolving, never settle for less than what you want, never settle for less. And yeah, that is it. Make your life a gift to the divinity that resides within you. I believe that we are feeling so much because it is because of this greater power that is residing within us. Because the power of emotions that we feel, I don't think it is humane for us to feel that, even though I realize that emotions are human. But in the end, it's a gift for us to feel that, whatever you might believe in. And it's a gift for us to put our understanding upon that and to understand that connection matters. And so treat life like it's a ritual. Don't treat it like it's a game. Life isn't a game. Life isn't a game because it's just strengthening your bonds with others and yourself and maintaining that ritual. And that's it. Finding what feels good for you is is the art of finding what makes your ritual. And that also brings me to the aim of all the videos that I'm giving out as service, is that I really want you to connect with others deeply and authentically, from you connecting to yourself deeply and authentically. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.